In this lesson, we'll take a look at what our site first looks like after installing WordPress. In our last lesson, we finished up installing WordPress, so I want to take a couple minutes and take a look and see what WordPress looks like directly after installation. So immediately we're taken to what's called the dashboard, which is kind of a quick place to do some common tasks about managing a website or a blog. But first I want to take a look at what our actual site looks like immediately after installing WordPress. So we can come up here to our site title, and we can click on that to visit our site, or in our dashboard you could also come here to this little quick link here that says view your site. Once this loads, we can see we have a really basic website here. We already have kind of a look and feel, or what WordPress calls a theme, which adds a certain visual look, and each theme also comes with different functionality. So I want to take a look at this default theme here and see what it comes with. Since we don't have any images or content or anything like that yet on our blog, WordPress kind of adds some example content in here. We can see we have a blog post called Hello World. We have an example page, a sample page here that we can see in just a little bit. And it's kind of hard to get a feel of what that default theme looks like since we don't have any content. We haven't done anything to really create our site yet other than to install it. You can see we have a black and white theme here. We have a sidebar, a little search button here. You can see that one of the theme colors is kind of this bright green color. And in the navigation, you can see that page it adds by default, this sample page. So as we're coming in here and adding our own stuff, we want to remember to delete this content so it doesn't show up in our final website. But if you want to get a better idea of what this theme is like by default, this 2014 theme, I have a new tab open with the demo. It's just 2014demo.wordpress.com. I recommend you come in here and play around with this demo, and it'll give you a better idea if maybe this is something you can customize to work for your needs, whether you're building a blog or whether you're building more of a website for a business or something like that. You can see we have a main navigation menu here along the top with that kind of bright green theme color. We have the ability to add a drop-down menu with a whole bunch of pages in here. We have the ability to add a slider or a slideshow on here, so you can see it's very image heavy. We could feature images or content. We have a sidebar here with different categories of blog posts, and you can see that the tagline in this demo, it says it's a beautiful magazine theme. Whoops, I right clicked, but from this you can kind of see that this default theme was designed for more of a magazine style website, maybe a very large blog or a news website or something like that, where you have a ton of images, a ton of content, the ability to customize it and feature articles, feature images, and things of that nature. If I come in here and zoom out, I'm going to hit Control- so we can kind of simulate and see what this might look like on a larger screen. I don't have a very large screen here, so it looks like this website is full width, but if I zoom out, you can actually see on a larger monitor, maybe you're using a widescreen monitor, that there's actually kind of a large gap of gray space over here. So we have a background, and from this we can see that this website is left aligned, meaning it starts flush with the left side of the screen, and it's not really a full screen website by default, or it's not centered. So if you do have a wide screen, you're going to have this kind of big gap of space here on the right, which I'm not a big fan of. So I don't really like using 2014 because I generally like things to be either full screen so we don't have this awkward gap of space, or to be centered so at the very least it's kind of balanced on each side, rather than this kind of feels almost very off center to me. So I'm going to hit Control-0. Maybe you do like that, and that's perfectly fine. This might be a good choice for you. If we shrink the window, we can get an idea of whether it's responsive or if it has different layouts that work for different screen sizes. And as I'm shrink this, you can see that the layout is adapting. It has a pretty nice responsive design. So if you have a blog or something like that, then this has that nice responsiveness built in, so it'll work well across multiple devices and screen sizes. So I'm going to go back over here to our WordPress installation. You can see ours looks a bit different since we don't have all that content like the demo does. And 2014, this default theme is going to depend on what version of WordPress you have installed. So for example, if you have last year's, you're not going to have 2014 as the default WordPress theme. You'll have either 2013, or if you have a version from the prior year, 2012 as well. So generally they're named after the year, and that can kind of help you see whether you have a current up-to-date version WordPress or if maybe you're using a theme from a prior year. And every version of WordPress, or every installation of WordPress, comes with those default themes. So if we come up here to our site title and come down to the second option, themes, you can get a peek at the older themes as well. You can click on live preview, and maybe these will work if you just need something very quick out of the box, a good starting place for something basic. Especially if it's a blog, then these default themes are going to be really easy. You don't have to install anything. You can just do some basic customizations here, and if that's all you need, then these might be a really good choice. If you need to customize them extensively, if you want a really custom website, then unless you know CSS or a good amount of code, PHP, things like that to really customize the template and the theme itself, then maybe we want to start looking at other themes that give us more options to customize it through the interface. And all of that is going to depend on what kind of theme we choose for our WordPress installation. So I'm going to exit out of this and go back to kind of what we have here by default. So now that we've kind of seen what our starting place is for our website, what the default theme is, what the older default themes look like, 2013, 2012, in our next lesson, I want to start going over the administration screen and learn about our dashboard.